What's going on, my Century Unit? I'm the Sentiment Hisso, back again with another Classic SummerSlam pay-per-view review. This is the final Classic SummerSlam pay-per-view review of the month. So, I'm on the highway to hell to review SummerSlam 1998. So, this show was at Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York, on the 30th of August, 1998. The attendance of the show was 21,588. SummerSlam 98 drew about 700,000 pay-per-view buys. This is the most highly bought SummerSlam show of all time. The commentators for the show are Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. This month marks the 25th anniversary of this SummerSlam. The trademark Highway to Hell. Before I get to this, so at the end of the last Classic SummerSlam pay-per-view review, that is SummerSlam 2013, I say Highway from Hell instead of Highway to Hell. My apologies. Originally it's called Highway from Hell, but anyway, so it's a song by AC/DC. I'm on the highway to hell. Highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell. Unfortunately, you're not going to hear that song if you watch this on the network or Peacock in America, because they just don't have the rights of AC/DC. I think they cut off the video package of the main event. The main event was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. That was cut. It's just what it is. They just don't have the rights, you know. It's not WWE's fault, they just don't have it, you know. But anyway, so I think this is the first SummerSlam at Madison Square Garden since the inaugural one. That was in 1988, 10 years earlier. And the last one at MSG. The next thing they do is SummerSlam in New York City will be SummerSlam in 2002. That will be in Unadale. I reviewed that show last year on this channel because it was the 20th anniversary of that show, and then I think the last time they did a SummerSlam in New York was in Brooklyn in the mid 2010s. But anyway, yeah, it's a shame they never done another SummerSlam at MSG. You know, I think they do have a lot of money to do not just a SummerSlam, but a WrestleMania at MSG. They just, like, a couple years back, they did, like, a special event on the network at MSG, but who knows? But, anyway, so, the entrance, you had the Hell's Gaze, not pun into The Undertaker, but, the submission hold of The Undertaker at the Hell's Gate. I'm talking about the gates, when the wrestlers come to the ring and left the ring, coming in, coming out. It was a bit disappointed for me when I watched this. I heard about the show, but the gates of hell, I think it was a bit disappointed. Not on the level like SummerSlam Survivor Series 2002 with the LED entrance, and also WrestleMania 20, with the skyscraper and the buildings, I know it's like that was in the 2000s, but this is in 1998. But the gates is a bit disappointed for me, but it's a trademark of the the tagline Highway to Hell. But anyway, so like I wish that it's just what it is, man. It's what you see, what you get, So before we get to the matches on the show, or the main show matches, gonna do some quick results of the heat before SummerSlam. So we got Too Much, the feature Too Cool in data later on in the Attitude Era, because this is the heart of the Attitude Era, because they beating, I think they're beating Nitro on a consistent basis, Anyway, so yeah, let's do some quick results of the heat before SummerSlam. Anyway, so we got Too Much, the future Too Cool in the what was it 99 2000. We got Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor. Scott Taylor is the future Scotty 2 Hotty. They defeated LOD 2000, Hawk and Animal with Dross in their corner. You could tell like LOD. You can tell they got one foot out of the company because I think I think it was Hawk's drugs. It's really fucking sad. All three members of LOD 2000 are no longer with us. They just both died. Dross just recently passed away. Rest in peace, Dross. But yeah, you could tell they're getting one foot out the door. It's a shame. I think it's a point that they just don't really belong. It's of the attitude here. They're kind of like way past their prime. It's a shame. Anyway, so the next match on Heat, we got Gangrel defeat Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, I think he was doing the whole born again Christian gimmick. Stopping the artist from known as Goldust. He ended up becoming Goldust at the end of the year. I think it's just like taking a break of the Goldust character. And he ended up becoming Goldust, then leaving the company to go to WCW the following year. And then we got the final match on Heat. DOA, Skull and 8 Ball with Paul Aaron in the corner, defeat Bradshaw and Vader. You could tell like some of these characters, they end up not staying in the company. They end up leaving the company for the next year. Guys like with LOD, Dustin Rhodes, and Vader. Anyway, so let's talk about the opening match of SummerSlam '98. First of 4 championship matches on the show, and this is for the WWF European Championship. D'Lo Brown represent the nation, defending the belt against Val Venus. D'Lo won the belt from Triple H. I think it was the build up to Fully Loaded. The storyline going into this, he's wearing his chest protector because he's got his pec torn by the hands of Dan the Beast 7. Val Venus, I don't, you could tell like the fans really get behind Val's gimmick because, he's a porn star. The Big Val Bolsky, I think that's his nickname. He come and saw again. I think he said in that promo before this match. Anyway, so the match between D'Lo Brown and Val Venus, and also the announcers or the commentators, they bring up that the chest protector is reinstated because because D'Lo is using his chest protector as a weapon in his matches, and I think at this point he's taking the European title seriously. The ring announcer, I think it was Tony Chimmel, saying like he's now ringside, he's now from Helsinki, Finland. Because it's the European title. I think they did with Christian's gimmick, when he won the belt in 2001, adopting everything as European, Anyway, this match was good. It's revolved around the chest protector. Every time Val did like a punch or a forearm shot, he's selling the effects of the chest protector. Anyway, this is revolved around their high flying moves, You had Val Venus with the money shot and D'Lo Brown with the frog splash. I think is it called the Sky High? Or maybe I might be wrong by it. I think it's called the Sky High. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so Val he did that move, but D'Lo got his knees up at the last minute. The fans were really booing D'Lo Brown, chanting D'Lo sucks. I think D'Lo is very underrated as a worker. There was one notable botch. D'Lo was going for the power bomb, and he trying to hit the power bomb onto Val Venus, but instead he kind of botched it and dropped Val Venus on his head. It's fucking sad because 1 year later, I think he hit Droz with the powerbomb. I think it was the powerbomb, and he ended up breaking Droz's neck. That caused him be paralyzed for life, and it's really sad for Droz. He's just, like I said, he just passed away in our current timeline. It's just what it is. But anyway, so yeah, what I'm trying to say. There's one spot I think yeah, Fowl was going for like the money shot. I think it was the first attempt, I think, but D'Lo counted into the power bomb, or I think it was a spine buster. I'm not too sure. The next time a wrestler did that spot at a SummerSlam, in my knowledge, was John Cena Batista. 10 years later, Cena did his leg drop off the top rope. Batista counted into, I think it was a spine buster or a powerbomb. That led to Cena breaking his neck in the process. Another story for another time. But anyway, so in the end, Fowl was removed the chest protector of D'Lo Brown. You had the ending was a bit ballsy. You got Jimmy Calderas. I think it was Jimmy Calderas. Trying to stop D'Lo Brown. Not D'Lo Brown. Foul Venus. He kind of threw the referee away. He kind of pushed it to the side, pushed the referee to the side, and the referee just called for the bell. He called for the bell. D'Lo retained the European title via a disqualification. And afterwards, Foul Venus got his heat back on the referee because he shoved the referee, and he hit the money shot on Jimmy Calderas for, that's it, But anyway, besides that, it was a good. I think it was a good match. I think it was a good back and forth between D'Lo and Foul Venus. And it was a battle of the high, the battle of the high flying moves, was it the sky high and the frog splash and the money shot. So I kind of like the whole bulk of the match, but the ending was a bit disappointed. Maybe they just want to put the belt on D'Lo because he's still red hot. It's funny with Foul Venus. He's also hot at the time, with the porn star gimmick. It's a shame. Foul, I think he's. He won't win. I think his only title, his singles title belt he won, I think it was the Intercontinental title, but I don't think he won. I don't think he won any championships before this. Yeah, he was tag team champion in his career in the company, but for Foul, I think I understand they're trying to keep the belt on him. Maybe, on D'Lo, but I think Foul, that gimmick, was over like gangbusters, Oh, yeah, he became a two-time... I forgot he ended up becoming the European champion. He's won... Not just... I thought the Intercontinental Championship was the only single belt he won in his career, but no, he was European champion and IC champion twice. I forgot to mention this is the second time that the European title was defended at a SummerSlam. The first one was at the previous year's SummerSlam at the Meadowlands. That was it was between Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, and Ken Shamrock. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is a handicap match. So we got the group of Kaintai. That's Dick Togo. Or was it Dick Togo? Trying to pronounce the names properly. Dick Togo, Men's Toa, Sho Funaki, and Taka Michinoku with Yamaguchi-san in the corner of Kaintai, taking on the Oddities. That's Giant Silver, Golga, Kurgan, with Luna Vachon, Shaggy, Two Dope, and Violent J of the Insane Clown Posse in the corner of the Oddities. So I forgot to mention this, I think recently Kaintai chop off Foul Venus's penis. I don't think they did it in real. This is kayfabe, I think this revolves around Taka's kayfabe sister or Yamaguchi's wife or sister or a family member of Yamaguchi-san. Or I think it's also related to Taka Michinoku. Taka is now part of Kaintai, turned on Foul Venus to join the group. Taka is at the time still the light heavyweight champion. Chop Foul Venus's penis, choppy his pee-pee. Anyway, so the Oddities, not familiar with the group, You got Giant Silver. Golger is John Tenta, the former Earthquake or Canadian Earthquake, and also former the Shark and Avalanche in WCW. He's now Golger, I think he was wearing a gold mask and wearing a Eric Cartman t-shirt because South Park was over at the time. So Kurgan is the former interrogator of the Truth Commission. This was formed by the Jackal. This was after they scrapped the whole... I think he scrapped the whole Truth Commission faction. That was just stupid. Anyway, so... And then, not too long, the Jackal left the group to form the Acolytes. And also, the Jackal is, the future Cyrus the Virus in ECW. And also, he's Don Callis in AEW. So, yeah, he left the WWF to go to ECW. Sable, reformed this group and make it a happy-go-lucky spirit faction. I don't know what the original plan of it, I think it's a freak show, like something like that, I don't know. I'm not familiar of this group. When people say, with factions in the Attitude Era, you say like the Corporation, D-Generation X, Nation Domination, but not the Oddities, And I also forgot to mention, the Ministry of Darkness, but not the Oddities, so Sable, form, discovered the fun and loving side of the group, they made it into a happy-go-lucky group. Anyway, so, by the way, their theme music was sung by ICP, but they cut off the live performance of ICP because they just don't have the rights of ICP or JCW. It's a shame. The company is still, the company is still dead. It's a shame they never got the taping of JCW, but it's just what it is, the company's still going. I don't think they're doing JCW anymore, the Insane Clown Posse. I think they're just doing their own stuff. Anyway, the match between the Oddities and Kai En Tai, this is the worst match of the night. It was 10 minutes long. I think one more of the match, I think it was Golger or Giant Silver, one of them, grab a drink, pour the drink into a shoe and throwing it into Yamagachi-san. But besides that, it was boring. I get strength versus agility because the Japanese guys are high flyers. Guys like Golger and Giant Silver and Kurgan are the big brutes, the giants. It was 10 minutes long. In the end, I think it was Kurgan and Giant Silver chokeslam all four members of Kai En Tai for the win. 10 minutes. I wish they cut this match in half. I think they accomplished much better than they did the squash match. That's just me, but anyway, let's move on to the next match. So the next match, we got the hair versus hair match. X-Pac represent D-Generation X taking on Jeff Jarrett with Dennis Knight and Mark Canterbury. That's Southern Justice, the former Godwins. This was the first pay for Jeff Jarrett with his new character. He's slowly getting away of the country western gimmick, He's becoming the Jeff Jarrett you see right now in the rest of his second run in the WWF, his second run in WCW, his run in TNA, and right now you could say in a certain degree in AEW, hitting his opponents with the guitars. And I think he just and the tagline, "Don't piss me off," and calling people slap nuts. No, I think he called slap nuts when he was in WCW in his second run. But anyway, so there was no build up to this, Jarrett's cutting people's hair. The only build up to this, you had X-Pac pissing on Jeff Jarrett's cowboy boots. Anyway, on the heat before the show, Jeff Jarrett attacked the ring announcer Howard Finkel. I think he shaved his hair, even though he's barely got any hair. He's got hair on the side and back, and I think he shaved his mustache. He came out wearing a D-Generation X t-shirt, X-Pac grab on the mic, say, "You like to talk trash, I got 2 words for you," and Fink says, "Suck it." The match between Jarrett and X-Pac, I like it. I think it was an enjoyable, fun match to watch, back and forth between Jeff Jarrett and X-Pac. Anyway, so the ending was a bit kind of overbooked. I get it. I get it's the Attitude Era. You know, it's not like it's just what it is. Run-ins. I'm not going to go into that, but besides that, I think it was a really good back and forth. You know, yeah, Jarrett locking the figure four leg lock onto X-Pac. You know, Pac, you know, hit the Bronco Buster. I think he hit the X Factor. I think he hit the X Factor. I heard him. Jarrett. X-Pac hit the. I think he hit the X Factor, but Jarrett kicked out or something. I can't remember. He had Southern Justice appeared. You had he hit Jarrett with the spinning heel kick and the Bronco Buster, and I think it was a good. Yeah, I think it was a roll up, battle of roll ups. You know. Anyway, so yeah, Southern Justice appeared from the back, but X-Pac ducked an Alka bomb by Dennis Knight. You know, I think he kind of trying to land, kind of slide Jarrett the guitar, but X-Pac hit Jarrett with the guitar, for the win. So Jarrett must get his head shaved, and then out comes you got like the Headbangers, Darren Drozov, and other members of D Generation X. You know, that's the New Age Outlaws. You know, they're in a match later on. They're trying to shave Jarrett's head bald, but unfortunately, it was a disaster. Not disaster, it was very bad. You know, they tried to cut his head with the hair clippers, but because Jarrett's hair was so wet, it's struggling to get his hair cut, struggling to cut his hair. So I think the clippers broke off, so they decided to cut his hair with scissors, and then out comes Southern Justice to rescue Jeff Jarrett, pull him out of the ring, and that was it. So, and then the next night on Raw, Jeff Jarrett managed to get a nice haircut. You know, I think this is the last pay-per-view match for Jeff Jarrett wearing the country western attire before he wearing his traditional trunks. Not trunks. They're trunks. You know, I call them shorts, but I call them trunks. You know, he wear trunks for the rest of his career. So. Yeah, the hair versus hair match, you know, I think the next time they do this type of stipulation was Edge and Kurt Angle, Judgment Day 2002. I wish they bring back hair versus hair, man. You don't see that in mainstream wrestling anymore, you know, the loser get the head shaved off, you know. I wish they bring back these stipulations like fighting for money, fighting for a girlfriend, shaving your opponent's shaving your head, shaving your opponent's bald. Yeah, I forgot to mention this. I think the last hair versus hair match I saw in mainstream wrestling was in 2010 in WWE. You know, is a match between Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk. Punk got his head shaved bald, but so I think this was the beginning of the end of Southern Justice. Mark Canterbury, the former Henry O'Godwins. You know, he ended up like injured his neck. That led to his neck injury to be a career-ending injury. So he ended up coming back to the company a decade later, but that was in developmental, was it D-South Wrestling? But he didn't really truly made a true comeback on the main roster. So Dennis Knight will end up being repackaged as Mideon, be part of The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness, and also make it Mideon in the year 2000 for the WWF. So overside, I think the X-Pac Jeff Jarrett match was fun match to watch. You know, very underrated. You know, not underrated. Yeah, it's very underrated. You know, not a great match, but it has to do with Jarrett left on very bad terms because he held the company up to ransom. But anyway, it was a good match to watch. Despite of the aftermath, not seeing Jarrett getting his head shaved bald. 1 second, folks. Laptop's run out of juice. Anyway, plugged it, so let's move on to the rest of the show. And the next match, I think this is a mixed tag team match. So the mixed tag team match, we got Marvelous Mark Merrow and Jacqueline taking on Sable and her mysterious opponent, mysterious partner, my apologies. Sable's mysterious opponent was Edge. So this is still in the continuation of the Sable, Mark Merrow, Jacqueline rivalry, you know, because you know the story, you know. Mark Merrill getting sick of Sable because she is hogging the limelight. Jacqueline joining the rivalry of Mark Merrill and Sable. They had the arm wrestling contest. I think the previous month at Fully Loaded. They had a bikini contest. I think it was one of the top 10 moments of the Attitude Era. Sable came out not naked, but remove her bikini and have handprints on her breast. Holy shit, that gave Jerry the King Lawler an orgasm. But anyway, so this is Edge's first pay-per-view match in the company. Yeah, he was in the company before this, but he was an enhancement talent. But this is his first pay-per-view match as an on-screen character. So, the match was good. I really liked this match, Edge, you can tell Edge is still, I'm not saying he's terrible. He did fine in this match, He'll get better in the years to come. I think at the time, Edge was about, 22, 23? He was still young, but everyone looked good. I think they carried Sable to another good match, It's not on the same level like at comparing to Sable's first match, was that was WrestleMania 14. It was her and Mark Merrill teaming up against Goldust and Luna Vachon. But anyway, so I think Sable hit the I think it was the Sable Bomb onto Jacqueline, and I think it was the Sable Bomb and the TKO onto Mark Merrill and Jacqueline, but it was one of them came to the rescue. One more of the match, I think Merrill bumped his ass off. One more of the match, he grabbed Sable. Jacqueline's going for the clothesline. Sable got away, and she accidentally hit Mark Merrill out of the ring apron, or off the ring apron. Yeah, and you had Edge spanking Jacqueline's ass. Anyway, she hit the Frankensteiner, the Frankensteiner, or the Hurricanrana. I think they call it the Sable Corona. The commentators, you could tell that the fans really get behind Sable. I think Sable's much over. I'll get to more of that shortly. So in the end, Sable did a splash with Edge's assistant onto Mark Merrill to win this match for her team. Yeah, Sable is very underrated. It has to do with Sable leaving the company on very bad terms. I think Sable in the ring, when I'm watching this, she's not that bad. She was okay in the ring. It's funny, the bad Sable match I watched, previously was her match against Stephanie McMahon at Vengeance in 2003. I think it has to do with her first match in years. She left the company due to, she was sexual assaulted. I don't want to get into that. Look it up. But, Sable, I think she should be in the Hall of Fame. How she's not in the Hall of Fame yet, I think she was the first female wrestler. Even though she's not a female wrestler, she's more like a personality. She's the first woman in the WWF to be on a cover of Playboy magazine. And I think this before Chyna and Trish and Lita and Tori Wilson. She needs to be in the Hall of Fame soon, we haven't seen Sable in the company for almost 20 years. Right now, Sable's the real life wife of Brock Lesnar. But Edge end up feuding with a debut of Christian and Gangrel. They end up forming the Brood, and they end up being part of Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness. That was about in early 1999. So I really enjoyed the mixed tag team match. I prefer the mixed tag team match at WrestleMania 14. So moving on to the Lions Den match. So we got the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, taking on Owen Hart with Dan the B7 in the corner of Owen Hart. So it started in the spring. I think it was summertime of '98 when Owen Hart turned on Ken Shamrock to be part of the Nation, injuring Ken Shamrock's ankle in the process. I said in my review of King of the Ring '98, Owen, be part of the Nation. he didn't really belong with the group. They should have like turned him heel for different reasons, you know. Anyway, so they fought in the dungeon match at Fully Loaded the previous month. That was at the Hart Family Dungeon in Calgary. So Owen won, you know, hit Ken Shamrock with a dumbbell, and it looked like he tapped him out. I think it was a submission hold or something, like a crossface. Anyway, so Dan Severn is training Owen Hart for the Lion's Den match. You know, in the video package, you had Owen locking the sleeper hold onto not Dan Severn, Ken Shamrock. My apologies. You know, he locking the Dragon Sleeper onto Ken Shamrock. Because I think Dan and Ken had history because they're former UFC rivals. You know, I think they did fight in the UFC. I'm not really too sure. Like, you know, I'm not too sure they fought in the UFC. You know, I check. So this is like early 90s. You know, and I think this is before they end up going to doing AF. You know. Yeah, they did. They fought UFC 6 in 1995. You know, they had, and again in 1996. So yeah, they had history in the UFC, and I'll be damned. So anyway, so I think the Lions Den match. This was not at MSG. I think it was in the Manhattan Center or the Hammerstein Ballroom. I think this was the first pay-per-view with Owen with the Nuggets chants. You know, the fans chanting towards Owen Nugget. It's funny, like I think it ended up doing a promo says I'm a champion, not a nugget. You know, I think it's referring to Shawn Michaels' promo from the previous year when Shawn calling Owen a nugget, a little nugget. Anyway, so the match was good. I really enjoyed the Lion Danes match. I think they capitalize over the rise of the UFC, but right now it's super big. Back then it was still a baby. My only nitpick about this, I wish they traded a lot of submission holds. You know, they kind of use the cage war as an advantage. You know, I wish they trade. Yeah, like I said, trade some submission holds and also fight on the top of the Lion's Den. Anyway, I think this is the predecessor to the Fight Pit, you know, in today's day product. So, anyway, so one more of the match, you know, we had Owen locking the sharpshooter onto Ken Shamrock, and Ken, you know, managed to not truly broke out the submission hold. You climbed the wall of the Lion's Den to get out the submission hold. I think he kind of choked Owen with his own T-shirt. And in the end, Owen was going for the Dragon Sleeper. Ken used the walls to flip out to get out of the hold. He didn't really lock Owen with the Fujiwara armbar. He kind of was in that position for the Fujiwara armbar, but instead locking the ankle lock onto Owen Hart. Dan the B7, who was the trainer of Owen Hart, you know, instead of throwing the white towel, he ended up leaving. Owen tapped out, and Ken Shamrock won the Lions Den match. I think it's the first of two or the first of three. The next time they did a Lions Den match was the following year between Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman. I think it was at the following year's SummerSlam. Maybe it is the following year's SummerSlam. Yeah, they end up fighting in that Lions Den match, you know. Shame they never break back. Maybe it has to do with the don't want to end up getting a lawsuit by the UFC. So it's a shame they never done more Lion Dens matches after 98-99. So this was the end of the rivalry between Owen Hart and Ken Shamrock. I feel like this is just a pit stop. I wish they'd do another match. Maybe they did another match, but probably on a Raw or at the next pay-per-view. I don't know. But besides that, you know, I feel like this is that's it. You know, they did two matches on a pay-per-view, but I wish they did another one to end the rivalry. So I think this is one of Ken Shamrock's final pay-per-view matches as a babyface before turning heel later on in the year. So moving on to the next match. So the next match, this is the second This is the second of 4 championship matches on the show. This is a handicap match. We'll get to that shortly. This is a falls count anywhere handicap match for the WWF Tag Team Championships. It was supposed to be Mankind and Kane defending the belts against the New Age Outlaws. That is Badass Billy Gunn and Road Dogg Jesse James of D-Generation X. So, it's funny, I think it was after King of the Ring. Yeah, after the King of the Ring, Kane and Mankind kind of form a tag team. They end up beating the Outlaws for the belts on Raw. Then at Fully Loaded, they dropped the belts to The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then they won the belts back. So on the heat before the pay-per-view, Austin smashed the Hearst with the sledgehammer. And there was segments on the show with Mankind getting pissed off because he wants to... I think it was at that time in this... it was a love and hate. They're not really friends, but kind of like, a tag team partner. He wants to put Kane in the Hearst. He's a bit pissed off. And he also, minutes later, or later on the show, he's pissed off Kane's not showing up. He wants to, find a tag team partner on the streets, He had Vince, talking it out that, talking into to compete in this match. If you do this, you will be in the MSG Hall of Fame by time next week, He said he wants the weapon. And he grabbed, I think it was a candle, a sink. I think it was a piece of a sink and a candle holder, and Mankind says, "How much wood?" The wood chop, wood. Because at the time, Mankind is not the comedy Mankind. That'll be later on I think it's around the autumn time of '98. You could tell the fans really get behind Mankind because of his performance at the Hell in a Cell match at King of the Ring 2 months prior. So he was still, I could say, tweener, leaning heel. He ended up becoming a babyface. I think it's around at Survivor Series in November of that year. So anyway, Mankind came to the ring. I think Mankind's theme music is very good. Very deranged and evil. Before he ended up with the, I think they ended up having the upbeat version of the theme music, and then the car crashing Mick Foley theme. Who had it to this day. Anyway, the match. I thought it's going to be a fun match, but it started out good. You had I think it was Mankind, Billy Gunn had a chair sword fight, but after this, you had Road Dogg and Billy Gunn beating the crap out of Mankind, hitting. I think the both Outlaws hit Mankind with. I think it was what's it called? Cooking trays. Anyway, it was just got a little boring. I'm not saying it's a bad match. It was okay. No Kane. Kane didn't show up until the aftermath. So anyway, in the end, I think they did an assist power driver onto Mankind for the win. They retained the tag team titles. I prefer their dumpster match at WrestleMania 14. Outlaws versus Cactus Jack and Terry, and also Chainsaw Charlie, aka the late great Terry Funk. But this at SummerSlam '98, bits short. I feel like I don't understand why they did that. Why they make it 5 minutes. I wish they had more. I think it was it was a power driver. Then aftermath. Kane came. Kane showed up on. They kind of put. It's funny. The Outlaws kind of shoved Mankind into the dumpster. And then afterwards, Kane showed up, hit Mankind with the sledgehammer. It's funny, the sledgehammer, right now, current represent Triple H, but it was new back then. I know sledgehammers was around before 1998. I'm just saying, in wrestling standards, you'll see wrestlers, before Triple H adopted the weapon using the sledgehammer. So anyway, no, it was a double powerbomb onto the chairs, and it was a spiked power driver on the championship belts. My apologies, it's been I haven't watched the show in 2 days, my memory's a bit faint. Anyway, I don't call it a bad match, it was okay. Wish I had more time. Anyway, so moving on to the third of 4 championship matches on the show. This is a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. The Rock, the leader of the nation, defending the belt against Triple H, the leader of D-Generation X. This is still the rivalry started in the spring and summer of '98 between D-Generation X and the Nation. They fought in that 2-hour free pinfall match at Fully Loaded the previous month. The build up to this, Mankind, I keep saying Mankind, but The Rock hit Triple H in the knee with the Intercontinental title belt. It started it started a few weeks prior, on I think it was on the Go Home Raw. You had really it revolved around China and Mark Henry, when Nation members trapped DX in their locker rooms, they captured, really surrounded China, and Mark Henry made out with China, and then Mark Henry adopted the sexual chocolate, gimmick, That was a time, he ended, he was kind of like Nation and Domination. First it was the Olympic, 1996 Mark Henry, and then he was Nation of Domination Mark Henry. Now he's sexual chocolate Mark Henry, onto China. Anyway, so I forgot this and mention this. I never knew this, I knew it after this. We'll get some of the aftermath after this. Triple H entered this match with a knee injury. Anyway, so you had Chris Warren, doing Triple H's the DX theme music. It also did Triple H's first theme music as a single star, My Time, before he adopted the game theme music. Anyway, so this is the first ladder match since SummerSlam of 1995, 3 years prior. That was the Shawn Michaels Razor WrestleMania 10 rematch. One day I might review SummerSlam 95. Anyway, I think this was a good match, between Triple H and The Rock. Both good. I think they have good chemistry. This is, the started in 1997 and continued in 98 and 99 and 2000 when both Triple H and Rock, they were in fighting for world titles in the main event scene. Mostly in ladder matches in today's wrestling landscape, they're doing high spots and spot fairs, but unfortunately they don't really need that in this match. It's two guys beating the piss out of each other. Like one more of the match, or some blocks of the match, The Rock working on Triple H's leg, It hit a concerto. It wasn't really called at the time, the concerto, onto Triple H. He placed the ladder, grabbed the chair, whacked Triple H's knee onto that ladder, to injure it, to make sure Triple H is not climbing the ladder to grab the belt. You had the battle of the managers compete. China. I think China clothesline Mark Henry. In my nitpick, I wish they did this moment when China make out Mark Henry, get her own back. But that's just me. But anyway, I think Henry threw white powder in the face of. In the face of Triple H, Triple H did like a baseball sliding drop kick onto the Rock, onto the ladder. Rock was bleeding. Anyway, I don't think Triple H hit the pedigree. I think he was trying to do it onto the ladder outside the ring, the entranceway, but Rock counted into a back body drop. I know that, the Rock did like he hit the people's, it was the people's elbow. He hit the rock bottom, his finishing moves, one spot, Rock pushed Triple H off the ladder. He kind of snake eyes onto the second ladder onto the corner, and Triple H managed to push Rock onto, he kind of also knocked Rock off the ladder, but it was getting really good, really intense, they don't need to do high spot moves, it's just two guys fight, spots. If you watch ladder matches in wrestling, they're going, there's near attempts, people trying to attempt to grab the title, climb the ladder, grab the title. Anyway, so in the end, China low blow the Rock, Triple H climbed the ladder, grabbed the belt, and become the Intercontinental Champion for the second time. He won the belt in late 96, but that was forgettable. We'll get to more of that shortly, but it was a really good match. I really enjoyed the physicality between The Rock and Triple H, They told a good story in the ring, you know. Yeah, they were fighting the crowd, you know. No, did they fight in the crowd? I don't know. That was the main event, but I'll get to that later on. But besides that, you know, I think this set Triple H and Rock for life. You know, I think they debuted in '95 and '96, but mostly with Triple H, you know, I don't think Triple H had like a breakout match, you know, a breakout performance match. I think this is the breakout match for Triple H. You know, he's been in the company for 3 years. You know, he almost got fired, and yeah, he was in the doghouse 2 years prior because of the curtain call incident. I don't want to get into that, but seeing him winning this ladder match was good. You know, you got two members of the other members of DX. You know, I think it was X-Pac and the Outlaws. You know, the Outlaws, you know, won the tag team title belts. You know, seeing DX all got the belt. You know, Triple H is now the IC champion. The Outlaws are the tag team champions. You know, it was good. But yeah, Triple H won't hold the belt that long because, like I said, you know, he entered this match with a knee injury. He ended up faking the belt due to that knee injury to get knee surgery. So they did a tournament to crown a new Intercontinental Champion. That was won by Ken Shamrock. You know, if Triple H didn't have that knee injury, I think he'll probably have a good run as Intercontinental Champion. You know, because it's sort of like I said, going back to his first run in '96, '97, that was disappointing because he was in the doghouse because of the curtain call incident. But right now, it's sort of like the previous year, Rock and Triple H. They were not getting over, you know, but like before the second half of '97, fast forward '97 to right now in '98, they are got over, you know, of those groups. You know, Rock's doing his own thing, becoming a megastar. You know, you could tell like Triple H and The Rock are the future of the business, not the business, but the company, and you can tell they're soon to carry the rest of the period of the Attitude Era for the next few years. You know, they're becoming world champions in the next year or two. You know, Rock winning the belt at the end of the year, Triple H the following year. You know, I think they told a good story, even though they never compete in ladder matches. I think this is Rock's only ladder match they compete, because Rock never compete in another ladder match. Yeah, after this match, you know, he's never known to compete in ladder matches. Same as Triple H. You know, the next ladder match Triple H will compete was against Shawn Michaels at Armageddon in 2002 in the 3 Stages of Hell match. You know, I reviewed Armageddon 02 last year on the channel. Go and check it out. So yeah, I advise watching this ladder match. You know, it's really good. It's fun. It's physicality. You know. And I think this was the end of the DX Nation rivalry, because after that, you know, Rock, you know, split from the group, you know, ended up becoming a single star and, you know, propelled into the main event world title scene, you know, and then, you know, you got the Godfather doing his own thing, D'Lo and Mark Henry's doing their own thing, you know, yeah. It's just, yeah, it's the end of the DX, or it's the end of the Nation domination as you know it. The second version of the group. You know, I think it's outstayed its welcome. They don't need to be part of the group that long, you know. People just, like I said, the people in the group's doing their own thing. D'Lo's doing the European title thing, Godfather's doing the Godfather thing, and Mark Henry's doing the sexual chocolate gimmick. So let's move on to the main event. So the main event, the Highway to Hell. This is for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the belt against The Undertaker. You know, this is after King of the Ring. After Austin dropped the belt to Kane. After Undertaker whacked Austin in the head with the chair in the first blood match between Austin and Kane. Then the Raw after King of the Ring. Austin regained the belt. Then Austin and Undertaker form a tag team, defeat Kane and Mankind for the belts, and then yeah, they end up dropping the belts sometime after this, you know, and they're doing this whole storyline that the Undertaker and Kane in cahoots, you know, what side the Undertaker, it's the Undertaker teaming up with Kane for the first time, reunited for the first time since years before this, when Undertaker as a kid set fire to the funeral home, killing his parents and discarding his brother for life. So anyway, like I say, you're not gonna see the video package for this match on the network because it's got its copyright issues due to the song "Highway to Hell," AC/DC, Anyway, the match between before that, Undertaker's theme music, I think it's called Dark Side, is real. I really like that, man. I really like most of Undertaker's theme music. The '98 theme music, the Ministry of Darkness one, the American Badass one, Keep Rolling, the 2002-2003 theme music, and his 2004 onwards one. I just like his theme music, They always find a way to change up his theme music, keep it fresh, Anyway, so this match was, I call it, I don't know. I'm going to say the match of the night for me has to be Rock and Triple H. I'll get to my overall thoughts of this show afterwards, but the match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker, they are the headliners for this show, and the poster boys of this show. This was good. I really enjoy it, because it's funny like the previous year, Undertaker was the world champion. Austin had that match against Owen Hart. That was, he had that career-ending, or almost that career-ending injury by Owen Hart. Another story, another time. By the way, go watch my review of SummerSlam '97 for more information. But anyway, this match, like I said, was good. It was more like a brawl. Like they were brawling throughout the arena. One more of the match, the Undertaker hit a crossbody off the top rope and put Austin through the table. Like, holy shit, man! But you can tell Undertaker's got to be one of the most biggest. He's one of the most athletic big men in wrestling history because he moves like a cruiserweight. I think he hit Austin with the old school in this match. I'm not really 100% sure on it, but I think he hit Austin with 2 choke slam, a running choke slam. I think this has got to be the second best match of the Austin Undertaker rivalry. That was it started in I don't know, but they fought in '96 one time on Raw, but I like the match in '97. I like the First Blood match. That's got to be the best of the rivalry. But they fought many times over the last five years. I think that 2001, 2002 matches they had was disappointing because it has to do with Austin. He's kind of past his best. His body's breaking down physically. But in 98, I like the matches in 98 and 99. But anyway, so in the end, Austin hit one Stone Cold Stunner onto The Undertaker to win this match and obtain the WWF Championship at the time. And also before that, you had Kane showing up. It's playing on to if The Undertaker's in cahoots. It told him to go back. He did show up minutes after this match, and afterwards, you had Taker give Austin the belt back. It would basically show a little bit of respect, and he left, So yeah, the match was. I'll say it's the second. I call it the second best match of the night, but yeah, it has to do with Austin's style change because after his neck injury in '97, he's not the ringmaster Steve Austin anymore. He's the brawler Steve Austin. If he didn't have that neck injury, I think the match will flow better because both Austin and Undertaker are best workers. So the rivalry still continued. I think Undertaker ended up teaming up with Kane, reunited for the first time in years. Since that fire incident. So Austin fought Undertaker and Kane in a triple threat match at Breakdown the following month. Undertaker and Kane cannot pin each other. They pin Austin. So the belt was held up. and they fought in an Undertaker came for it at Judgment Day in October. Austin got fired. He was the special guest referee. It's just playing the seeds of the Deadly Gains tournament at Survivor Series in November. Another story for another time. Before I get to my overall thoughts of this show, I've got me thinking. I think Undertaker winning the belt on the show, I think it would be a sensible way to end the show. Like, Undertaker would win the WWF title again for the third time the following year in '99, but I was disappointed because of the whole Ministry of Darkness thing. I don't want to get into that, but yeah. It's funny, like, I've done my research on this. When Austin, end up dropping the belt in September, the rating will still go up. It maybe has to do with Austin, he's the draw. I think Austin doesn't really need the belt, even though the fans will turn into watch Austin whether he's the champion or not. So I think Undertaker, if he wins that belt on the show, I think it'd be satisfying. And it got me thinking that Undertaker lost 3 SummerSlam matches in a row, because he lost the Boiler Room Brawl match against Mankind at SummerSlam '96. Then 1 year later, when he was the world champion, he lost the WWF Championship against Bret Hart when Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee, costing the belt. That kicked off Undertaker-Shawn rivalry in the autumn of that year, and now he's just lost the championship match against Austin at this SummerSlam. Got me thinking, I think Undertaker should need that win more than Austin. So it's just what it is. So anyway, my final rating for SummerSlam 1998, Highway to Hell, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's back and forth between 9 or 10.5 out of 10. But it started out well in the opener and ends well with Austin Undertaker. The only match in the band for me was Oddities versus Kind Tai. It was just filler. The OK has to be Outlaws versus Mankind in that false count anywhere handicap match for the tag team title belts. But besides that, I like the opener. I like Jeff Jarrett versus X-Pac, the mixed tag team match. I like the match of the night has to be Triple H versus The Rock in that ladder match, and also Undertaker Austin for the WWF Championships. So yeah, I think I say SummerSlam 02 is the best of all time. This has got to be number 2. Yeah, this has got to be number 2 best SummerSlam show of all time. So anyway, so that's my review of SummerSlam 1998. What's your thoughts on this show? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, this is going to be a bit of a break of content, because the reason why, because next week I'm getting my wisdom teeth removed, so I might suck up to the pain and pump out another classic WWE pay-per-view review, or any classic wrestling pay-per-view review. But who knows? But I'm just waiting for my mouth to get healed. So it'll be a week or 2 weeks until I'm fully recovered. So it got me thinking. SummerSlam is now in our review mirror for SummerSlam season of 2023. It got me thinking, what classic WWE pay-per-view review you want me to review? I don't know, man. This is going to be a random one. And it's back and forth between reviewing Backlash 2016 and Clash of the Champions 2016. It got me thinking. I think I will review a 2016 show. It got me thinking. Let's review. Let's see how AJ Styles got on in his first year in WWE. I reviewed Payback 2016. He fought in his first championship match against Roman Reigns in the company. So let's fast forward. That was in April. So let's fast forward in September when he's facing Dean Ambrose and win the belt. That will be technically the first SmackDown branded pay-per-view of the second current brand split of the company. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, let's talk about. I'm going to review Backlash 2016. That's until when I recover from my wisdom tooth surgery. Until then,